Oh snap, Glaze is going live.
Cypress Hill houses, a total of 33 buildings, 1,617 apartments, Euclid Avenue, Sutter Avenue, Linden Boulevard, Fountain Avenue. Places, back then you had the Milk Jug, Manny Bodega, Dan Supreme, Mimi the Chinese restaurant, Jaws, Carl Meat Market. School, we had IS 218, PS 214, Franklin K. Lane. And don't forget, high school redirection. The guys in the neighborhoods back then went by the name of Kool-Aid, Webb, Domino, LD, B.O., Randy Evans, Tut, Jesus, Drat, Irene, Pig, El Son, Minister, Rasta T, Gangsta Larry. The group back then, you had the 18 and the 5%ers. Songs, Love is the Message, Bra, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, Shame, Got to Be Real, Fire and Desire, and Catch the Beat. Wars, Pink Houses versus Cypress, Linden Plaza versus Cypress. Then we always have fun. Where at? Cypress Park. Walter Johnson, aka King Tut. I first met Tut during the spring of 1975 when my family and I moved from the Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn to the East New York section. We was both approximately 11 years old. I just happened to live in the same building with my family, 455 Fountain Avenue. I lived on the 6th floor, and Tut and his family lived on the 2nd floor in Cypress Hill houses. It's funny how we lived in the same building for over a month, and we didn't speak nor acknowledge each other until this one particular day at PS 214 in Brooklyn. Class was out for the day, and I was heading to the auditorium to wait my turn to catch the school bus back to Cypress. As I was entering the auditorium, this young fellow was exiting, and he shoulder checked me, causing me to drop my book, opposing me just bending down to pick up my book like the normal kid would have done. I ran behind him and placed his head in the headlock and started pounding him in the face with my fist before the staff came along and broke us up and sent us both back to the auditorium. As we were just sitting there talking, we became friends. 7 months later, my family and I moved from the back of the project to the front to building 1266 Sutter Avenue, apartment 4B. Me and Tut still ran into each other at junior high school IS 218 on Fountain Avenue in Brooklyn, and often throughout the confine of the project. After I graduated from IS 218, I decided to go to high school in South Carolina. The year was 1977 to 78. I didn't return back to New York until June 1978, before I started hanging out with all of my street brothers from Cypress, Pink Houses, and Linden Plaza. By then, half of them had became 5%er, whereas their belief the black man is God and the black woman is the earth. Game plan being most of my clothing, sneakers, pants, shirt, coat, you name it, was destroyed in a fire at my aunt's house in South Carolina. I was basically starting all over. So right now, in order for me to get new gear, new clothes with no job, only way I knew was crime. We was getting back on the train or the bus with the fellas and robbing any and everyone that looked like success for money and jewelry. Sometimes we would net up to a couple of $1,000s to be split up with criminal-minded adolescent, and at times we would walk away with jack shit, not a dime. I call that picking up a brick and throwing it at the prison wall for absolutely nothing. All because we wanted to buy clothes to dress to impress the girls. Wow, how naive was I. Plenty of days, Tut and I will walk around in our community scheming on where are we going to get the next dollar from. Back then, he used to pack a .22 revolver, and I used to carry a .25 automatic in my hand with a small hand towel concealing my weapon and a pocket Bible in my back pocket. One day, as Tut and I was walking past the Kingdom Hall Jehovah's Witness on Fountain Avenue and across the street from Cypress, where Tut and his whole family attended, Tut say, "Let's stick up the Kingdom Hall. We can get paid." I looked at Tut and told him hell no, and asked him was he crazy. You and your whole family attend there daily. This was probably 1980. We both were 16 years old, so we scratched the plan. Our crime spree continued. During the spring of 1981, Tut, myself, and Domino was arrested for robbery. Until this day, I stand by the fact that Domino and I should not have been arrested because legally we didn't do anything. One morning, Domino and I was at this restaurant on Van Sicklen and Fulton getting breakfast when a fellow student of ours, grade school, high school, or redirection, entered the restaurant wanting to know that the watch was real. She handed the watch to Domino. He examined it and gave it back to her, saying that he didn't know. She handed me the watch, and I examined it, white gold and diamond. I knew as well as Domino this piece was indeed real. I handed it back to her. During that time, Tut entered the restaurant, and the young lady allowed Tut to see the watch, and Mr. Johnson ran out of the restaurant with the watch. Do not get me wrong, opposed to me and Domino heading to school, we went with Tut to 47th and 50th and 6th Avenue Diamond Exchange, where he sold the watch for $1,500. Initially, Tut didn't want to give Domino not a dime. His reason, when Domino made his money, he rarely shared his money with anyone. That was true. We considered Domino to be the Jew. I convinced him to give Domino half. After we split the funds, me and Domino went shopping. Tut went elsewhere. When we arrived back to Euclid Avenue train station, Tut and a few other guys was outside jobbing around. We left Tut and went to the project. About 1 hour later, as I exited the PJ, going across the street on Southern and Euclid, the detective car was driving past me with Tut handcuffed in the back seat. When that car came to a scorching stop, and I heard one of the detectives say, "There go Money Green," I was wearing a butter soft green leather blazer. Tut yelling at the top of his lung, "That is not him." My mind is racing, thinking about all the robbery that Tut and myself had done within the past few months. As the two detectives got out of the car seeking to arrest me, I'm jumping up and down in the middle of the street yelling, "I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything." One of the detectives placed his gun to my temple as the other one slapped a handcuff on me and placed me in the back seat with Mr. Johnson. We was booked and sent to an overcrowded Rikers Island C-74 Gladiator School. We was in a crowded mess hall where numerous of our fellow inmates was telling us that they are going to take our British walking and coat. Tut and I dumped our food out of the tray and turned back to back and started yelling back at them, "If you want it, let's go right here, right now." The COs bum rushed us and took us to the Why Me Small bullpen in the receiving area. Our people was able to make the necessary deal to have the victim drop the charge, and we was both released. Everything was good up until July 31st, 1981. I was arrested, my luck ran out. It was time to face the music. I was going upstate for the case stemming from my last arrest. I was sent and sentenced to 2.5 to 5 years in Brooklyn and 2 to 4 years for a cream robbery beef. During June of 1982, while I was upstate serving my state bid at Fishkill Correctional Facility, Walter Johnson, aka King Tut, and several others was arrested and later convicted for robbing over 300 Jehovah's Witnesses at his family church. 2 years later, he decided to put that move into effect. Only Tut. I was paroled November 1984. Tut was eventually paroled December 1985. He was now Muslim and went by the name Mustafa. I can recall running to him and his wife and a small entourage as they was walking through the pathway of Cypress Hill houses. The first thing out of this brother's mouth was, "Glaze, I'm surprised of you." Keep in mind, he had not been home a hot minute, but based upon the data that he received, such as I am hustling in the community selling drugs, Mr. Tut, aka Mustafa, wanted to criticize me. I can recall looking him in the eyes and saying these exact words, "Let he or she who had not sinned cast the first stone." I then turned and left before me and my friends since the 6th grade get into a heated argument. Within a matter of weeks, guess who showed up at my door? Mr. Self-Righteous himself, Mustafa, aka King Tut, needing financial assistance. Me being me, if I can help anyone that is in need, I'm going to help them, especially if I'm in position. But I had to let this self-righteous brother know that the money that I'm about to give him was ill-gotten. And trust me when I say he didn't have any problem accepting it. After several months of him needing cash assistance, I gave him a position in my organization. That way, he was able to earn his own money on a daily basis. I can recall him and I would get dressed up with our 2-piece suits, silk shirt, ballet shoes, and jewels, and drive around the city, mingling with the ladies or looking for new territory to open up more drug spots. It was a Sunday, and as I was driving down Murder Avenue near the Fort Greene section of Brooklyn, when NYPD patrol car put their sirens on and pulled Tut and I over. As we pulled it over and the cops got out of their car and headed our way, I instructed Tut to put his hand up in the air, and I did the same. As one officer reached my side and the other officer reached Tut's side, I realized it was a brother from the neighborhood, and he told his partner he was going to pull us over just to bust our ball. Bad mistake. I went off on this idiot and his partner. I was yelling and screaming at them as a crowd was gathering and people was driving by. And I told them, do not ever pull a stupid stunt like this again. Our partnership died when I turned myself in to fight the murder case. Tut was not equipped to run the day-to-day operation. Once I left, he basically went back to what he was good at, and that was being a stick-up kid.